huge edition of 5 Minutes at Frat House with Frat House Mike and Sidekick. Wow, wow, wow. Hey, it's early June. That means we've got plenty of racing to cover this evening. Yes. We had a race this past weekend down at that Monster Mile there at the, betterwise known as the Dover International Speedway. And it certainly appears at this point now that Jimmie Johnson has suddenly found the accelerator. Won his second race, really we could say 3 in the past month if you count the All-Star, which doesn't count in the standings, but he won his second race in the past month. Others who came in the top 5 down there at Dover, Kevin Harvick came in 2nd, Matt Kenseth came in 3rd, Dale Jr. came in 4th, and got his 5th top 5, and Clint Boyer came in 5th. But one of the things I kind of wanted to go over a little bit was this whole situation with Kurt Busch. Kurt Busch he's been on probation this year anyhow, relating back to incidents that occurred last year with some driving issues on the track, and then of course he blasted out a reporter.
Yeah,
and
Jerry Punch.
Yeah, right. And then what does Kurt do? And then of course I think he had a probation issue this year because of a pit violation that he had as well. But what does he do in his classic kind of style? He's being asked some questions by a reporter after the race, and I guess the reporter got under his skin a little bit, and Kurt comes back and says, well, basically, listen, what's stopping me from kicking your butt is the fact that I'm on probation. Says it right on the video. The guy, I mean, he darn near lost his ride last year, all right? Or he did lose his ride last year, and he gets it for similar types of offenses. Mm-hmm. And Jim Finch comes along in this Phoenix Racing and gives him another chance. Mm-hmm. In what basically is an unsponsored car. I mean, there's no sponsorship on the car at all. In the end now, at this point, Busch is suspended for this upcoming race this week in Pocono.
In both Nationwide and the Sprint Cup.
His probation is extended to the end of the calendar year, which is now December 31st of this year. Now, you went and posted a comment on our Facebook page the other day saying someone needs to take a close look at what they have and what they will lose if this behavior continues. I posted similarly, the day before saying, okay, so he's suspended for 1 race weekend while continuing to be on probation. Would NASCAR racing be better without Kurt Busch in it at all? And I guess that's kind of my question. Would NASCAR be better off without Kurt Busch?
I don't know if they'd be better off. I mean, I personally haven't liked him since he drove the Blue Deuce. Right. But I like the fact that NASCAR said we're going to take the gloves off and let the drivers be drivers, but I think there's a line when you start threatening media people.
Sure.
You know, if you want to run your mouth, foul mouth, all that other stuff, I have no issues with that. I like that. Mm-hmm. I like seeing that kind of nature from the drivers. But to be sitting there threatening reporters because I ask a question you think is stupid is ridiculous. And I think he seriously needs some help.
See, my contention is that I frankly don't think NASCAR would be better off just getting rid of him, all right? Or he's not involved in it at all. I don't think NASCAR is better off, all right? But but if you can keep putting him on probation, and if he knows he's always going to be coming back, what's to change the behavior? The behavior is not going to change. There's no modification going on. I found some of the comments from Jim Finch interesting yesterday. Jim Finch, I mean, I couldn't believe, he just outright put it right to him. I mean, Jim Finch says, it's going to be race by race, all right? This isn't a probation thing for me. It's race by race. It's going to be, it's not probation with us. Here's the deal, he said. Quit wrecking cars. Get a good finish. Be nice to people. That's not real hard to do.
Yeah, I think he quoted it as a come to Jesus meeting.
So,
which is good. It's good for him for saying, hey, I'm not gonna. I don't care what the NASCAR. Yeah, exactly.
I feel for Finch.
See, and that's why I don't think it makes a hill of beans whether Busch stays in or leaves. Because he's racing.
Jim Finch doesn't.
He's racing for a one-car team who, obviously can get somebody else in. I don't think NASCAR would be any better or any worse if Kurt Busch just fell off the face of the planet.
Well, see, I don't know. See, I kind of like what Kurt brings to the race to the whole environment of NASCAR. And that's my point, I guess, was Jim Finch, I don't think would care whether he's there or not. I mean, particularly if he continues behaving this way. But would him just being out of NASCAR be good for racing? I say no. That's kind of where I am. Right. Okay, we do have a race this weekend up there at that monster track, 2.5 miles up there at Long Pond in the Poconos. Pocono 400, and this week it'll be covered. We're moving over to TNT. All right, TNT will be covering that on Sunday beginning at 12 noon. But before we leave NASCAR, let's go over and take a look at the Sprint Cup leaderboard. And did it change? No, it did not change. But Greg Biffle is now only 1 point ahead. He still holds the #1 spot, but that lead is getting smaller and smaller. Only 1 point ahead. Matt Kenseth gained some ground on him. He's 1 point behind him at 485. Dale Jr. and Denny are going back and forth. Yep. They just keep flip-flopping. This week it's Dale in third, Denny in fourth, and Jimmie Johnson with those couple of wins. He's now starting to make that fifth spot look a little more competitive at 453 points.
Yep.
So there's our NASCAR talk. Now we didn't actually see the race on NASCAR because we were out at the Old Bridge Township Raceway in Englishtown for the NHRA Toyota Super Nationals. Great day. A lot of fun. I love that stuff. It was a beautiful day. It was warm. It was sunny. It was great until the skies opened up at about 3 o'clock. And
it was a minor pickup.
But we had a chance to hang out with you and I did there with John Force's car. And then you later on pulled out the tailgate grill and got the grilling going. And we had lunch. And then a little bit later on, we were able to catch up with a couple of our Facebook friends, which was really great. And we were able to catch up with TJ and with Patty, who are getting married next month.
Yeah. I think they're doing a ring ceremony.
Ring ceremonies, okay. But anyhow, we wish the best from the Frat House to our Frat House friends there, TJ and to Patty. And we were out there at that race. It was great, terrific. So since we're talking NHRA, hey, let's update the leaderboard on that one. We got 3 different categories, and in the top fuel dragster category, we still have Spencer Massey sitting at the top of the list. He's 34 points ahead of Tony Schumacher, 82 points ahead of Antron Brown. In the funny car division, John Force Racing driver Robert Height still leads it rather convincingly too. Incredibly, 157 points ahead of Ron Capps, 242 points of his teammate, Force teammate Mike Neff. And finally, in the Pro Stock division, there's Greg Anderson still ahead by 99 points over Jason Line and 159 points ahead of Alan Johnson. And we've got footage that we took at the race, which will be closing the show out tonight, of John Force going up against Alexis DeJour in the first round. That was in the first round of the finals of the funny card. So you'll be getting a chance to see that as we close out the show. And that's our NHRA update for now. We'll bring that leaderboard back in a couple of weeks when things start moving again. One more race we want to talk about though for this coming weekend, Sidekick, and that's the third of the Triple Crown races in horse racing.
Sure.
And we're looking at the possibility of having a Triple Crown winner in the form of I'll Have Another. We haven't seen one of these. We haven't seen one of these since 1978 when Affirmed did it. And I think we said even a couple of weeks ago that there have been 11 times that we've had a race going into Belmont, 11 times since 1978, where we've had the possibility of a Triple Crown. Not a single time has it been successful since 1978. So the crazy thing to me is this. When this kind of thing happens, you get a horse in there and they've got 2 wins under their belt and they're going for the Triple Crown, and suddenly you're seeing the odds heavily favoring that particular horse. And yet, history dictates to us, as we have seen since 1978, history dictates that that horse will not win the Belmont Stakes. And so what I don't understand is why I'll Have Another is a 4 to 5 odd. 4 to 5 odd. That is the heavy favorite in this particular race. Go ahead.
Bookies don't want to lose money.
Okay.
If he were to win, the bookies don't want to.
Well, that's okay. I see that. Yes.
Lose the money.
I guess.
From a bookie perspective.
But what I'm saying is, why are people betting on it? That's my point. Why would anybody go out and bet on it when the history is dictating that? In fact, it is such a long shot. I would probably rather go with Dolahan, who is 5 to 1, or Union Rags, who is a 6 to 1. That's where I would go. But so that's why. Now, Do you think? I mean, where do you think Belmont falls down? I mean, let's put it this way. I'll make the question simpler. Does Al have another win this?
I don't think so. I think it'll be 35 years.
35. Yeah, there you go. And I'm going to tell you right now, I got some very specific reasons why I think that I'll have another does not win the Belmont and does not win the Triple Crown. All right? The Belmont Stakes have been nicknamed for years. They call it the test of the champion. And there's a reason for that. It's because it's the longest of the 3 races. Mm-hmm. It is 1.5 miles. And believe it or not, that extra quarter mile makes a big, big difference when you're talking about horse racing.
Yes.
That's why so many of this is what they contend anyhow, so many of those going into this with 2 wins under their belt actually lose, is because of the length of the track. The second is, Bodemeister's not running. And frankly, when you take a look, Bodemeister is what drove that horse in the past few races.
Yep.
Coming up from behind. Bodemeister is not in this particular race. And the third reason is some analysts are actually indicating that the trainer, Doug O'Neill, should probably think about changing his jockey. Now, that would probably be, it wouldn't be popular because Mario Gutierrez, he's run that horse 4 times and won all 4 times. But the thinking is that Belmont is a different track, and you're better off with an experienced jockey who has won it before. Gutierrez is not. So those are my thinkings on it. I'd love to see it happen. I'd love to see I'll have another win it, but I'm going to tell you right now, bet on one of the others.
See, and I've got a couple others that figure into this. It's a 12-horse field.
Yes, it is.
And you have several of the horses that are running in the Belmont where the owners have not run them in any of the other races.
That's true.
Specifically because they want to win the Belmont.
Right.
Whereas I'll have another has had to race all 3, will have had to race all 3 races. So there's other horses that are specifically running Belmont.
The folks over there in the I'll have another camp though think that their draw position was very good. They got the 11th spot, right. And they think being on the outside, not being in the middle, is actually going to benefit. So we'll see whether that works.
We'll see at 6:40 p.m. on Saturday.
Saturday, that's right. All right, let's race over. Let's race over and take a look at Major League Baseball. And let's get the word on our improbables for this week, week 9.
Yep.
Ironically, I think it was just last week, I think it might have been the beginning of last week, I was mentioning here right here at the Frat House, that the New York Mets were one of the only teams who had never had a pitcher with a no-hitter in their entire history of their franchise. I was just mentioning it. That was until this past Friday night. Johan Santana threw 133 pitches and had 5 walks against the St. Louis Cardinals in a game the Mets won 8-0, where Santana and the Mets both. Santana recorded his first. That was Santana's first no-hitter. That was the Mets no-hitter. But wasn't. Apparently, umpire Adrian Johnson blew it on a call in the 6th inning against Carlos Beltran. Carlos Beltran hit a line drive down the third base line, which apparently hit the chalk line and should have been ruled a hit for Beltran. But in fact, it wasn't. And so, Sidekick, there have been a lot of people who have said, hey, this is not a no-hitter. There should be an asterisk next to that in the record books. Where are you coming down on that one? Is it a no-hitter or isn't it?
Well, first of all, it's the Mets, so who cares? Second of all, there shouldn't be any debate on this. It's baseball tradition. Baseball does not have instant replay. There's elements of human error. The ump called it a no-hitter. It was ruled a no-hitter. No asterisk, no argument. It was a no-hitter. Yeah. And I'm a Cardinals fan.
Yeah.
I don't want to see a no-hitter against my Cardinals, but the point is, that's what was called.
Right.
We can't go back and look at videotape. I know there's all the videotape people who are trying to argue that videotape needs to be in baseball. Until it's implemented, I don't care. Right. It was a no-hitter.
Joe, get me none of your facts up.
Listen, Sidekick, I'm right with you. I agree. But look, human element's been a part of it, and so long as it is, it stays as it is. It's a no-hitter. When you first posted this story on Monday, Sidekick, I got to be honest with you, my reaction was kind of, oh yeah, who cares, huh? That is until I read the details. Toronto Blue Jays third baseman Brett Lawrie was in the food court of the Eaton Center Mall in downtown Toronto last Saturday when literally 10 seconds after he left the area, a lone gunman opened fire on the court area, killing 1 person and wounding 7. All right? Police believe the shooting was targeted at an individual and think it may have been gang-related. Lawrie was one of the first to break the story on Twitter, texting, quote, pretty sure someone just let off a round of bullets in Eaton Center Mall. Wow, just sprinted out of the mall, through traffic, people sprinting up the stairs, right from where we just were. Wow, 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 rattled right now. Wow. I mean, when you first posted it, I'm sitting there going, really? Okay, all right, so the guy just happened to be... No, this guy was like right there.
Literally, it was, yeah.
Whew, that's a little unnerving. Seems that every week we've been having a Washington Nationals Bryce Harper story. I've said it week after week. Well, now we've got now Harper's got one of it. He's got his own sidekick. He's got his own sidekick in fellow rookie Steve Lombardozzi. Sunday, the Nationals were playing at home against the Atlanta Braves, and Lombardozzi in the first inning hit his first major league home run off a Braves pitcher, Tommy Hanson.
Yep.
Up comes Bryce Harper. Same inning, very next pitch. After Lombardozzi's home run, how about a Harper home run? It's been determined that that was Lombardozzi's and Harper accomplished. It's been determined that what they accomplished, they're the first two rookies who, in their first inning, back-to-back pitch home runs. That hasn't happened since about 1900.
Yep.
1900. Two rookies, back-to-back, first inning home runs. I'm telling you, that Washington Nationals team.
And when I sent you the story last night, it's not that I want to see Bryce Harper up in the thing again, but that's a stat. Improbable.
That's a stat. Yeah.
1900s?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody recalls Texas Rangers Josh Hamilton's incredible effort and display at the Home Run Derby back in 2008. In fact, it was so incredible. It was a losing effort that Hamilton had against Justin Morneau. I don't know. Do you remember seeing that? It was just positively incredible. 28 home runs, I think. He had broken Bobby Abreu's record from the year before. Well, unfortunately, don't expect a repeat of that Derby kind of experience this year, simply because Hamilton is leading the major leagues with 21 home runs. When pressed about his decision not to participate in the Derby, Hamilton said, it's just not the right time. I haven't done it in the past couple of years. I want to be healthy and the best that I can be. I don't want to risk anything entertaining the fans. So I respectfully decline. You just take one swing, and we've got to be smart about it. So, unfortunately, we're not going to see our Major League home run hitter right now in this year's Derby. Finally, I got to tell you, this has got to be, I think, the creepiest improbable of the entire week, and this comes from the Texas Rangers as well. This one from manager Ron Washington. He was responding to inquiries from ESPN Dallas Jeff Fletcher, who was asking about the pitcher Derek Holland. Talking about his horrible performance. Fletcher asked Washington what he would do if Holland had a second straight miserable start, to which Washington said, and this is a quote, "I don't expect Holland to have any sort of hangover from his last start, but if he does, I'm going to pull off my belt, throw him across my lap, and give him a spanking."
Need a spanking?
Does that come from the Jerry Sandusky school?
You're mocking me, aren't you?
Whew.
And he actually had a pretty good outing, so I guess that.
I guess that no spanking was needed. No spanking needed. That was good. All right. Some people get. Is that an incentive?
I mean, come on,
Must be an
I'm going in there.
Must be an incentive in his contract. I would think. Okay. No spankings if you. Okay. All right. Let's take a look. Where do our leagues stand right now at this point? Over in the American League, no change. Orioles are still atop in the East. Chicago White Sox in the Central. Texas Rangers with the best record in the AL continue in the West. In the National League, the Nationals lead the East. Yep. Cincinnati Reds, your Cardinals haven't figured out a way to get back up there. In fact, I think your Cardinals, last I saw, were actually in third place.
We're tied with Pittsburgh.
Okay, you're tied for second. And the Dodgers continue to have the best record in Major League Baseball.
Who just
in the West.
swept the Phillies.
Yeah, let's not talk about it. Let's go over and take a look at the NBA playoffs. One half of the NBA Finals are set there in the West as of last evening, actually. The Oklahoma City Thunder came back from an 0-2 deficit to take that series last night. They won 4 in a row against the San Antonio Spurs. Frankly, a little bit surprised. I really thought the Spurs were the better of the two teams. But there you have it. The Thunder are sitting waiting on the conclusion of the Eastern Conference Final, which is right now between the Boston Celtics and the Miami Heat. And we've got a similar situation there where the Heat took a 2-0 lead on the Boston Celtics, but the Boston Celtics have come back and won the last 3 games. Yeah. So right now that series is at 3-2, and you got tip-off in about 20 minutes from Boston Garden. So the Boston Celtics could wrap that up. That would be an amazing situation. And I think just talk about an improbable. There's one right there. Yeah. But the Boston Celtics really have been the better team, in my opinion, in the past 3. They really have been.
And Bosch is back, but is it a little too late now at this point? I mean,
14 minutes. He only played 14 minutes in that game 5. He's got to get him in that game more if he expects to do anything. Bosch opens up the lanes for both LeBron and for Wade. So he's got to get Bosch in that game if he hopes to win.
Yep. Well, we'll see tonight.
Yeah, we will. Over in the NHL Playoffs, Game 5 was last night, or Game 4. Game 4 was last night, and actually I kind of thought that perhaps maybe the Kings were going to pull it off and sweep it.
Nope.
There were the Kings last night playing at home. They've won 3 already. They have a 3-0 lead. They had won 2 games out there at Jersey, went home, won the 3rd game. 4th game was last night in LA. And New Jersey found a way to salvage 1 game out of it. It's going back on Saturday to New Jersey.
Yep.
Where the LA Kings have not lost a game yet on the road in the playoffs.
It's going just as I drew it up 3 weeks ago.
There you go. That kind of leads us over to our hockey-related Frat House Facebook post of the week. We've been having this kind of bizarre story going back and forth. I posted on it, you posted on it, following the situation going on with Boston goaltender Tim Thomas. In fact, 2011 Vezina Trophy winner, Tim Thomas, who mysteriously announced this week that, hey, let's take a year off. Yeah, what the heck, I'm just going to take a year off. Let's take a year off, let's come back next season, the season after, that'd be 2013-14 season.
But the reason he stayed for why he wants to come back is because he wants to be eligible for the Olympics.
So I'm a little questionable on that one. That might be a violation. You got the lowdown, apparently, on the reasons for that, Sidekick, and you posted it on our Facebook page on Monday, saying, finally, we hear why Tim Thomas is taking a year off from playing in the NHL. Friends, family, and faith. He wants to come back the following season, as you pointed out, so he can be eligible for the Olympics. To that, our Facebook friends, Tim, jumped in. He said, question is, will he be a Bruin? Sadly, I don't think so. And then Shauna comes back at it. Nobody will touch this guy. That's the kind of back and forth type of stuff that we're looking for from our Facebook friends. So keep that kind of thing up. Keep posting them. Keep commenting. Love that. I love when you get going back and forth. Hey, if you have a disagreement, hey, go at it. It's fine with us. Since we're talking social media, though. Let me introduce you all to a brand new social media website that just started up in March. And it's a great one. It's a lot of fun. You and I are already involved in it. It's called fanjunkies.net. All right, got that, folks? It's .net, not .com. fanjunkies.net. And this is a social media site. Here's the best part of it. For those of you that are out there already on Facebook, it looks just like the old Facebook. And it operates just like it.
No timelines.
No timeline, yeah. Now, all of us here at the Frat House, we're already a part of it. And it's just starting out, so it's doesn't have a heck of a lot of membership yet. Still working on getting an audience, still working on getting numbers up. But we're encouraging you, go on over. We're not afraid. We know you're not going to leave our Frat House page. We're not worried about that. We look at this as kind of, add Fan Junkies into the mix of your social media. This is exclusively for sports people, like you and I, all right? And you folks out there, exclusively for sports folks. We're not talking about, we're not playing games, we're not doing farm things or, any of that junk. We're talking sports, that's it.
Yep.
Okay.
To include MMA, professional wrestling.
Yep. I'm trying to get them to add racing.
Yep.
So check it out, and hopefully we'll bump into you over there on that side. All right? All right, that's our show for this week. We remind you, keep us real, keep us live, keep us going. See you then.